I am installing Console5'S Atari 2600 cap kit today on Arctic Lab Services. I will be installing the cap kit into an Atari 2600 Light 6er. If you need help taking one apart, you can click on the card in the corner or in the description below for my disassembly guide. I will link the Console5's cap kit in the description below, along with affiliate links to single components on eBay. This video will be separated into two parts: the switchboard and the mainboard. First, let's focus on the switchboard. We will be removing and replacing a large 2200 microfarad 16 volt axial capacitor, a 4.7 microfarad 35 volt capacitor, a 0.22 microfarad 100 volt polyester film capacitor, a 7805 voltage regulator, and also replacing the thermal paste. The kit also includes a nut and bolt. On some of the versions, the voltage regulator is riveted to the switchboard. If this is your case, you'll need to drill out the rivet and use the supplied nut and bolt to secure the new voltage regulator. Mine is not riveted, so I won't be needing this. First, let's replace the large 2200 microfarad 16 volt axial capacitor. It's located at C106. If this is failing, it can cause scrolling dark horizontal bars, fuzzy and distorted video and/or audio. The negative symbol on the arrow points to the negative end. You can see the symbol and the arrow on the new one. On the printed side of the switchboard, you will see a plus symbol. Obviously, the positive goes on this side and the negative goes on the other. Desoldering is very straightforward. Add solder paste and fresh solder. Use a solder sucker or solder wick to remove the solder. Then remove the old capacitor. To install it, bend the legs, then check the polarity and insert it into the vias. I bend the legs at first to keep it in place. Then as I solder it in, I straighten out the legs. I trim the legs to finish it off. Next we will do the 4.75 microfarad 35 volt radio capacitor. It is located at C105. If this is failing, it can cause fuzzy, distorted, or no video. On some versions, there is an axial type capacitor here. It would have used a different negative position. This area is a ground plane, so it doesn't matter where the negative is soldered to as long as it's on the ground plane. Remove the old capacitor in the same manner. The negative leg is marked with a stripe down the capacitor. You can also tell by the negative leg being shorter. Solder the new capacitor with the negative leg to the ground plane. Then trim the legs. Now we move on to the 0.22 microfarad 100 volt film capacitor. It is located at C103. Some versions have two of these, the second one located at C104. The original film capacitor is a 0.1 microfarad 100 volt or 25 volt capacitor. A failing film capacitor will show distorted or wrong colors. It was later discovered that the 0.22 microfarad resulted in better video quality and reliability. Desolder and remove it in the same manner. Just like the 4.7 microfarad capacitor, the film capacitor has multiple solder point options. The film capacitor is not polarized, so it doesn't matter which way you solder it in. The last thing we will do to the switchboard is the 7805 voltage regulator. If this is failing, you will get dim or dull colors, low or distorted audio. If it fails completely, you will get no power at all. If yours is screwed in, unscrew it. Then desolder it as normal. Most of these consoles are over 40 years old. It is very possible that you will damage a via or a trace, like I just did. Luckily, this one isn't so bad. I just scrape off the solder mask off the ground plane. After cleaning off the old thermal paste, I bend the legs on the regulator to get it into position. But before I screw it in, I add new thermal paste. Insert the regulator and screw it in. Then clean off any extra thermal paste. For the damaged trace, I simply bend the leg to meet the area I prepared. Then solder it as normal. It has very good connection. That's it for the switchboard. Stay tuned for the exciting conclusion of the Console 5 Atari 2600 Light 6er cap kit. Thanks for watching.